We're finishing Swami Subodhananda letters. And I think I left 2 letters to read. There's Ava, too. Okay. We're on, I don't know what page, 189, on letter number 23. If I did read this before, bear with me, I think we'll read it again. Dear blank, I was very sorry to learn of blank's death from your letter. May the Master grant him peace. Birth, death, old age, sickness, happiness, and misery, all these are part and parcel of this world. If a person entrusts you to take care of something that belongs to him, you shouldn't be grieved when he takes it back. The Master has simply taken back what he had left in your care. The Master left blank in your care for some days, and you took care of him to the best of your ability. You have taken shelter at the Master's feet. He is your friend in happiness as well as sorrow. May the merciful Master grant you peace and increase your faith and devotion. Your observation that the Master lets us realize the transient nature of this world through such incidents is very true. Everybody remembers God only in times of sorrow. When they're happy, they don't remember him even by mistake. But if they can remember him in times of happiness, they will never be sorrowful. In whatever condition God keeps you, don't forget him. In whatever condition, if you can do this, then even hundreds of misfortunes won't be able to disturb you. Through such incidents, the Master sometimes tests his devotees. May he grant you peace out of his mercy. All of you, please accept Mahapurush Maharaj's and my heartfelt love and best wishes. Don't forget to let me know how you're doing. Your well-wisher, Subodhananda. Now, Bellarmont, 26 September 1932. Dear blank, I was very glad to get all the news in detail from your letter. I pray to the Master that he may keep you well and full of bliss, and that your faith and devotion may increase day by day. By this time you must have received the letter I wrote to you earlier. My health is more or less the same. I have a mild fever nearly every afternoon. Don't worry about all this. The Master will keep this body as long as he wishes, and then call me to him. Always remember that he is all auspiciousness, and whatever he does is for our good. The Master has given you shelter. The more you think of him, the more peaceful and blissful you will be. Believe me when I say this. What will you gain by thinking about my gross body? I am ever present in the hearts of all of you. Everything else is fine, except my heartfelt blessings, love, and best wishes. Your well-wisher, Subodhananda. Now we're going on to the appendices. The first appendix is a letter written by Brahmachari Ananta Chaitanya, afterwards Swami Kaleshananda, to Swami Parishuddhananda, describing Koka Maharaja's passing away. Belur Mat, 28 December 1932. Revered Swami Parishuddhananda, please accept my pranams. You already know most of the news regarding Koka Maharaja's passing away, so what else shall I write? You asked me to inform you about the last days of Koka Maharaj and the feast given in his memory. I proceed to do so now. Since I'm not keeping well physically and mentally, I couldn't write to you earlier. Shamdas Kaviraj was treating Koka Maharaj till Durga Puja. But when it was found that his treatment did not lead to any improvement in Maharaj's health, he himself told us to consult another doctor. Gananath Sen then began to treat Maharaj, but his medicines also proved to be inefficient. Another Kaviraj, that's an Ayurvedic physician, and also an avatuta, an ascetic, then treated Maharaj, but with no result. Maharaj's body had been reduced to skin and bones. I now narrate what happened the day before Koka Maharaj passed away. It was Thursday, and Maharaj's body shook a little at about 11:30 a.m. After that, his pulse couldn't be detected for half an hour or so. A similar thing had happened about 1 week earlier. Munindra Maharaj, who was a doctor, then gave Maharaj musk and makardwaj, it's an Ayurvedic medicine, mixed with other medicines. 2 hours after the medicine was administered, Maharaj's pulse became normal, and he was able to talk a little. Many doctors came to see him in the evening, but everybody doubted that Maharaj would survive the night. Maharaj asked, "What day is it?" Swami Parabrahmananda informed him that it was Thursday. Maharaj again asked, "What day is tomorrow?" Friday, he was informed. When Parabrahmananda asked Maharaj why he was asking this, Maharaj said, "There's no particular reason." At night, he said, "I bless you, so that you may attain faith and devotion." When he was asked whether everybody in Belar Mat should be informed that Koka Maharaj's last moment had come, and also if a picture of Sri Ramakrishna should be brought to him, Maharaj said, "No, there's no need to inform anyone. And I also don't need a picture of the Master. The Master, Holy Mother, and Swamiji are visiting me frequently, so what will I do with a mere picture?" Maharaj lay wide awake throughout the night. The next morning, Koka Maharaj took a little milk and pomegranate juice by turns, a number of times. The Kaviraj came in at 10 a.m. He prescribed makardwaj medicine, but he also said that Maharaj wouldn't survive the day. Since last night, Maharaj had refused to take any more medicines. He had also began to have hiccups. On Friday morning, Siddheshwar Babu, Maharaj's younger brother, came to see him, together with his wife and other family members. But Maharaj didn't let them enter his room, and they sat on the veranda. Maharaj's condition deteriorated in the afternoon. His pulse grew weaker, but he was still conscious, and whenever someone entered his room, he wanted to know who it was. At about 2:30 p.m., he inquired about the well-being of the members of the Mat. Vikas Maharaj entered his room about 15 minutes before Maharaj left his body. When Aboy Maharaj asked Koka Maharaj whether he recognized the person who had just entered, Koka Maharaj said, "Yes, it is Vikas." He then said, "Whether my body stays or goes, the Master is looking after you all and will continue to do so." He had said the same thing the night before. After this, his eyes became still and his pulse couldn't be detected. Everybody began to chant the Master's name. After a few minutes, Koka Maharaj laughed aloud 3 times and left his body. His eyes were half open. Since Koka Maharaj's disease had progressed gradually, he had to undergo a great deal of suffering. Anyone else would have screamed in pain and also disturbed others. He had also suffered much from hernia for the last few days and could hardly eat anything. One photo of Koka Maharaj was taken at about 8:30 p.m. after he left the body. His body was consigned to the flames at about 9 p.m., and by 11:45 p.m. everything was over. About 3,000 devotees partook of the prasad on the day of the feast held in his memory. Approximately 1,500 rupees were spent on the occasion. Where I will go is not certain. Aboy Maharaj and I are not keeping well mentally and physically. Revered Mahapurush Maharaj is also not keeping well. What more shall I write? Please accept my namaskars and convey the same to all others. Yours affectionately, Ananta Chaitanya. Now, Appendix 2 is about sannyasa and brahmacharya. This was a lecture delivered at the Young Men's Hindu Association, Madras, in 1897 by Swami Subodhananda. It first appeared in Prabhupada Bharata, November 1898, and was reprinted in March 1983. Okay. Sannyasa is the renunciation of all selfish motives and desires. Before I explain what sannyasa is, I should speak to you about brahmacharya, continence. For unless the latter is realized, no sannyas or renunciation is possible. The observance of brahmacharya requires strict regulation of one's diet, habits, and thoughts. Of all the injunctions prescribed for this stage, the scriptures lay the greatest stress upon the complete mastery of the sexual instinct. Nothing should be sensed or done by the aspirant which might directly or indirectly tend to arouse the animal instinct in him. In this way, one is directed to bring his mind under full control. He who is not a slave to his senses and mind, but on the contrary has made them his slave, is a true brahmachari. All the religions of the world preach this brahmacharya and sannyas, both of which have one and the same end in view, namely, to lift the mind up from sensual concerns towards God. When the mind reaches God, it enjoys divine bliss. The mind can be lifted up by worshiping God either with form or without form. Those who are devoted to God with form know him as their nearest and dearest. They enjoy his company at all moments of their lives. They play with him. They live and move in him. Those who worship the formless God also enjoy him intensely, realizing him as the all-pervading one, and thus they also live and move in him. The enjoyments of both these devotees are same in their intensity, inasmuch as both are supersensuous. Unless a man rises above the allurements of his senses, he can never be a devotee. So a devotee's mind is far away from all worldly desires. He does not much care for his family, friends, or relatives. No duties bind him to any one of them, for his mind entirely rests in and with God every moment of his life. And any time he looks at the world, he does not see the world of men, but rather the world of gods. For all men, women, animals, houses, trees, sky, and earth, all appear to him to be filled with divinity. Let me illustrate this by narrating to you the life of a saint. For the lives of such persons are the living and concrete examples of what I have just now said. The study of such lives is more beneficial to us than the knowledge of the abstract truths themselves, for the former clearly shows to us the path which we should follow in the journey of our life. The path traced out by great men is the true path. As Longfellow says, they leave footprints on the sands of time, footprints that perhaps another, sailing o'er life's solemn main, a forlorn and shipwrecked brother, seeing, shall take heart again. When the great saint and prophet Sri Chaitanya of Nadia was traveling in the Deccan, he became the guest of a pious and wealthy Maratha Brahmin. The Brahmin had an only child named Gopal Bhatta, whom he loved very dearly. As the Brahmin was a very pious man, He spent most of his time worshiping his chosen deity and chanting the praises of God. He never turned away any guest from his door, and his chief pleasure lay in receiving monks and holy men as his guests. He fed them sumptuously, supplied them with clothing, and heard from them instructive lectures that edified him. But his son Gopal had a higher motive. He was not satisfied just to hear lectures from monks or worship the image of God. He wanted to actually see God. With this end in view, he always wanted to go to a solitary place and there devote his entire time to communion with God, his beloved. So when Sri Chaitanya was his father's guest, the boy was struck by the intense devotion of the prophet, whose eyes were like two streams flowing with tears of love. He wished to be like him, to live alone and travel from place to place as a monk or holy man, supporting himself by begging alms. Sri Chaitanya, too, seeing the goodness, purity, simplicity, and devotion of the boy, was very much attracted to him, so much so that he praised the child before his father, saying, "Your son will be a great devotee hereafter." When Sri Chaitanya went away, the boy's heart followed him, but he could not find a way to carry his desire into action, as his father's fondness for him proved to be a great obstacle. However, one day he told his father about his intention, and the father, fearing lest his child should leave him secretly and betake himself to a foreign land, kept a constant watch over him without his knowledge. But where there is a will, there is a way. One night at midnight, when all were asleep, when even the guards that were especially employed to keep strict watch of him were in deep slumber, Gopal left his home and, avoiding the highway, took the forest path to evade detection. He had nothing with him besides the cloth which he was wearing. After traveling for a whole day, he was overpowered with hunger, and being still a boy, began to weep and pray to his God. After a while, he saw an old man coming towards him. The old man asked why he was weeping. The boy said that he was hungry, and the old man immediately gave him some food to eat. He also caressed him and told him that, as his way also lay through the forest, he would be his fellow traveler. Since the forest was very big, it would take them several days to traverse it. The boy was very grateful for this. What was more, whenever he felt hungry, he was sure to get some good food and sweet words from the old man. One day he asked the old man who he was and why he was taking so much care of him. The old man at once revealed that he was the very same individual whom the boy had been seeking. At this the boy replied, "He whom I seek is not old like you, but very young and beautiful, with a flute in his hand and a peacock feather on his head. How can I believe that you are he, my own dear, beloved Sri Krishna?" To his utter surprise and great joy, the old man was at once transformed into the most lovely youth in the world, and stood smiling before him as Sri Krishna himself. Who can describe the ecstasy which Gopal experienced at that time? After a while, when his ecstasy had abated a little, Sri Krishna pointed out to him a very easy way out of the jungle and vanished. But he promised to meet him again in Vrindavan, and this filled the boy's mind with love and joy. It is needless to mention that a few months later, Gopal reached Vrindavan, and there spent the rest of his life in ecstatic communion with his beloved Sri Krishna. After studying the life of Gopal Bhatta, we can clearly see that he became a man-god only because he had strong faith and insuperable determination. Simple faith and strong will are the two things necessary for making a true man. Our master used to say that if we wanted to pass a thread through the eye of a needle, all the scattered fibers of the thread should be brought to a point, and then alone could we make it go through the needle. Otherwise, if the fibers are allowed to point in all directions, they would prevent the thread from passing through the eye. Similarly, if we want to lift our mind up towards God, we have to bring it back from all external things and concentrate it on one point. But how to concentrate the scattered mind? The mind that has been given to wife and children, to the attainment of name and fame, and to the pursuit of all sorts of sensual pleasures. This can be achieved only by faith in God or in one's guru. Gopal Bhatta had great faith in Sri Krishna, so it was easy for him to direct his love entirely to the most loving, kind, and beautiful shepherd boy of Vrindavan. Even hunger and privation could not estrange his mind from the lotus feet of his beloved. But such faith is not ordinarily met with. Therefore, for the generality of mankind, faith in one's guru is necessary. If a man loves his guru with his whole heart and obeys his every command, his mind, being devoted to him, will naturally shun other attractions and thus get concentrated. This faith in one's guru grows gradually in strength. It is not advisable to expose it to vulgar criticism when it has just sprouted. For so long as the plant has not grown sufficiently, it should be hedged in to protect it from being destroyed by cattle. When there is just a little water in a pool, we should not disturb it violently, for then it will get muddy and become unfit for drinking. Then we will have to return home more thirsty than before. That is what our master taught us. Therefore, it is my earnest prayer to you. Just one second. Therefore, it is my earnest prayer to you all never to allow any indiscriminate questioning of your faith from outside, nor should you expose it to vulgar criticism. One's faith is one's own. No one has any right to call it into question. Every man in this world has some faith or other, which to others may appear false. Let me assure you that no sincere faith can be productive of anything but what is really good. Let me repeat, therefore, do not let you or anyone else's faith be made a butt of unsympathetic and disrespectful questions, for doubt is death. A proverb says that faith is very near to Sri Krishna, while skepticism is far away from him. Adorn your mind with the good quality of humility, for unless you be meek and humble, you can learn nothing. Our master says that as rainwater does not stay upon high ground, but always seeks a lower level, similarly, those who are puffed up with vanity cannot retain any faith, for faith always seeks the hearts of the humble and the meek. As long as individuals in different sects do not rise up to realize the highest truth, so long they are bound to quarrel among themselves. When truth shines, the darkness of ignorance and its crew of narrowness and bigotry and fanaticism, which deluge the earth with murder and bloodshed, shall vanish. My God is the true God, your God is false, is the talk of men groping in the darkness of ignorance. Once the late Keshab Chandra Sen, the leader of the Brahmo Samaj, asked Sri Ramakrishna, since there is only one God, how is it that there are so many sects quarreling with one another? To this our master replied, you see, my dear boy, people always quarrel over their lands, properties, and other things of the world, saying, this land is mine, and that is thine, and in this way divide this earth in various ways by drawing lines of demarcation to distinguish their respective properties. But no one ever quarrels about the open space that is above the earth, for that belongs to none, as no lines can be drawn on it to separate one's own property from that of another. Similarly, when a person rises above all worldly concerns, he can have no occasion for quarrel, for then he reaches a certain point which is the common goal of all. After a man realizes God, he cannot quarrel. But when he is below the right mark, that is, when he is distant from God, he is more or less given to quarreling. Try to rise up to that height without quarreling, even though you may have many occasions for it, and at last end all these disagreements by realizing universal harmony and agreement, which are only to be found in God, who is both within and outside you. Let us hear what a great Bengali devotee of yore named Ram Prasad always sang sweetly to all people. This devotee never sat down to compose his songs. When the feeling came, he sang extempore the most exquisitely beautiful songs, saturated with love celestial. These immortal songs were believed by many to have come from the Divine Mother herself, who sat enthroned in the bosom of her child Ram Prasad, and prompted him to sing. He sings, "Worship the Mother, O my mind, in whatever way you like, never forgetting to remember the mantra which your spiritual guru has given to you. Know that you prostrate yourself before the Holy Mother when you stretch yourself out to rest. Know yourself to be in deep meditation when you sleep. Know that you offer oblation to the holy fire when you eat. Know that every sound you hear is the holy mantra of the Mother, for all the 50 letters of the alphabet are her different names." Ram Prasad announces to all with great joy that the Divine Mother is in every being, and so, my mind, when you walk in the streets, know for certain that you are simply going around that Holy Mother. Here the song ends. Can such a man have any quarrel with any of his fellow human beings? Such a man is a true sannyasi. Once upon a time, a dirty-looking man entered the garden premises of the late Rani Rashmani at Dakshineshwar, a village north of Kolkata. This spacious garden contains a very beautiful temple of Kali, which covers a large area. The temple workers, seeing the dirty and unclean man intruding into and polluting the temple grounds, gathered together to turn him out after giving him a good thrashing. But our master, who lived in the garden, saw the man and at once recognized him to be a great yogi and a real sannyasi. He told the men not to ill-treat him. They obeyed our master, but looking at the dirtiness of the man's exterior, they did not allow him to go into the temple. After a while, standing in front of the temple, the dirty monk began to chant praises of the Divine Mother so sweetly that he drew tears from the eyes of all those who wanted to beat him just a few minutes earlier. Then, seeing a dog eating some remains of food that had been cast away, he went up to the dog, caressed him, and spoke to him thus, "Why are you eating all alone, my friend? Won't you share your dish with me?" He began to eat with the dog. As he was leaving, a good man went up to him and asked him with joined palms, "O Master, kindly instruct me in the mystery of true knowledge." To this the monk replied, "My boy, when you will not find any difference between the holy water of the Ganga and the filthy water of a sewer, then alone shall you be able to comprehend what true knowledge is." A true sannyasi looks upon a saint and a sinner in the same light, for he finds the same God in both of them, only in different clothing. Such a one is called a perfect man. The characteristics of a perfect man are thus summed up by Sri Shankaracharya. The perfect man sometimes wears clothes and is sometimes naked. Sometimes he covers his nakedness with the bark of a tree, sometimes with the skin of an animal. Sometimes he dresses himself purely with the garment of knowledge. He sometimes seems to be a madman, sometimes a child, sometimes a dirty being, even a ghoul. Thus he walks abroad in the world at large, free as the morning air and fresh as the dewdrops, and proclaims peace and joy to all. And that is the end of this book. Now, do we have a reading next week? Yeah, we have a reading next week. And I think it's going to be How a Shepherd Boy Became a Saint. Now, Swami Subodhananda was quite learned and was very learned in different subjects. Latu Maharaj couldn't read. This is what the book looks like, How a Shepherd Boy Became a Saint. It's not a very large book, and it's kind of short, 165 pages. Life and Teachings of Swami Adbhutananda, also written by Swami Chetanananda, collected, written, whatever we want to call it. So we'll start that next week. How a Shepherd Boy Became a Saint. Any questions or comments on what we read today? Okay. It's nice to see you all. And Leanne, good to see Ava. We miss her. I know you're glad to have her there, but we miss her. Okay. Then we'll end with the chant. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishnar Panamastu. Saturday night. This Saturday night is Shivaratri, and it's here in the temple. It will be on Zoom. No Zoom, YouTube. So the first watch, it starts at 6 p.m. The first watch is at 6 o'clock. The second watch is at 7:30. The third watch is at 8:45. The fourth watch is at 10 p.m. And it's over about 11. And you're welcome to come to any or all of the watches. Then Sunday morning, the topic is Every Obstacle is an Opportunity. Followed Tuesday, the 21st, by Ramakrishna Puja. And the puja will start at 11, the home fire at 12:45, and prasad lunch at 1:30. These are approximate. And February 22nd, the 5 o'clock reading will not be Swami Subodhananda. It will be How a Shepherd Boy Became a Saint. Okay? Hope to see you. And take care, stay well, and stay warm.